It's not our customer's job to remember who we are. It's our job to show up so much that they don't have an opportunity to forget.
Welcome back to Copy This Not That with Christa Nichols. My guest today is Crissy Connor, and this is the show where we dive into an area in complementary industries to learn more about how copy affects that and how we can do better to get better results for ourselves and our clients. So Crissy is, like I said, she is the visibility queen, and I cannot wait to get started chatting with her about visibility and how we can do better as writers at getting visible so that we can land better clients and get better results for the people that we work with. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. So Crissy, tell me a little bit about you and what you do.
So a little bit about me is that the one thing most people don't know is that I'm an introvert who swore she would never get on video, who said I would never teach, I would never speak on stages. And then it just got to a point that in my business, that was no longer the case. I could no longer stay the behind the scenes person if I wanted to grow the type of business that I have now. And so what I do now is I truly help others get visible. And I think there's so many interpretations of that, and we can talk about that. But so really get visible, to be heard, to be seen, to have their messaging conveyed, all of that. Because if nobody's seeing what we're doing, it doesn't matter, right? Because I love this quote, and I can't remember who said it, and I've kind of added my own words to it, but it's not our customer's job to remember who we are. It's our job to show up so much that they don't have an opportunity to forget, because we live in a busy, noisy world. So that is my goal, is to help every amazing business owner who has so much life-changing information in their brains to help them share that with their world and whoever their people are.
Absolutely. One of the biggest challenges I've found that freelance copywriters deal with is we are the implementers. We are the tacticians of our businesses. We grew a business because we're good at the thing that we do.
Yeah.
But like you said, if nobody knows what we do, then how can that make a difference in the world? How can it make a difference in our bank account? How can it make a difference in our business?
So true.
So for those who are just really, so there's a couple different things that keep freelance copywriters from being visible consistently. And one of them is, I don't know what to say. How would you get started if that was you? If you were coaching someone who was like, I don't mind getting on camera, I just have no idea what to even talk about. Who wants to listen to me? Why does it even matter to someone else what I have to say?
Well, I'll say this, and this may go against every copywriter's messaging, but when I first got on video, I had to do it about something that I felt 100% comfortable with, because it was so nerve-wracking to know. Now, this was back in 2016, so it was all live video. Now we have lots more choices. But when I'm going to have to push this go live button, and I'm going to have to go live, and I'm going to have to talk about something, and I'm going to have to try not to say a million times. I'm worried about what all my friends are going to say who aren't my clients, right? I'm worried about making a fool of myself. I'm worried about somebody smarter than me showing up on my newsfeed and saying, she doesn't know what she's talking about. I'm worried about these hives that I get every once in a while that are going to like creep up my neck. And so what I had to do was I had to do something fun, and I had to do something light, and I had to do something kind of cheeky. And so my actual first video was teaching my audience how to make Jell-O shots, because I just needed to get over that fear. There was just so much fear wrapped around. If any of you guys are like old school and have watched the Brady Bunch, when that light goes on and Cindy Brady just freezes, like that's what I was so worried about. Like that replayed in my head over and over. And so I knew if I taught my audience jello shots, like all my friends wanted to know, they wouldn't make fun of me. I could save money because they would start bringing the jello shots to the girls' night out. And it wasn't just me, but also it was just light and fun and nobody was judging me. And I knew how to do it without a recipe. And it was just one of those moments that I really needed to use. It was like a crutch, basically, to get myself out there and to get myself on video.
Definitely.
Yeah. And once I did that, then I just started thinking about all the questions that people asked me about my business and started answering those. But I think the key thing is that I couldn't do it for myself. I would have never got on video for myself. I got on video because I wanted to serve and support other people. And that was like a big game changer for me, because when I said before, I had fears, I had hives, I was worried about my friends. Those are all like internal. They're all about me, right? And so I think when you have this passion that's so big, right, and you want to share it with the world, that's how we literally get over ourselves and show up. We show up for other people. And I always say, I don't jump out of bed saying, I can't wait to get on video today, but I will jump out of bed saying, I can't wait to see who I can help change their business today. So that has been like a key determining for me. But maybe it's like when you first start, maybe it has nothing to do with your business. Maybe it has to do with something light and fun to get over that initial fear of getting on video.
Right. Maybe it's more about taking that first step and just doing it than it is what you say or what you look like on camera. So all of those things that you were worried or afraid about, how many of those things actually were worth being worried or afraid about?
Zero. None of them have ever happened. Now, could my friends be talking about me behind my back? Sure. Could people be talking about me saying, oh, she doesn't know what she's talking about? Maybe, but it doesn't matter because I've never heard it. And so there's, that fear was just irrational, right? It was just very emotionally heightened.
Yeah.
And it was, again, and I'm not doing it for any of those people that would have said anything about me anyhow. I'm totally doing it for another person. So.
Right. And there's always going to be somebody who knows more than you, but there's a lot more people who know less than you. And
Absolutely.
those are the people who really need what you have to say. And it's so important to get it out there because there are people out there who are doing it, showing up with their face and their voice on their social platforms, who don't know as much as you and can't help the people that you can help as well as you can. But they're getting those clients. They're getting that notoriety. They're getting that visibility because they're just willing to show up.
Absolutely.
Yeah, totally. So when it comes to the different ways, so you talked about how in the beginning it was all about the lives. Like there weren't all these different types of short form video and reels and things like that.
Yeah.
What do you recommend today? If you were brand new on the scene or had a client that was brand new on the scene as a freelancer who wanted to get visible to help promote their services down the line, where would you recommend that they start in terms of platform or type of content?
I would so if I had to do back over again, if I started today, I would totally start with stories. And the reason why is because not everybody sees them. It's a great place to practice and they disappear in 24 hours. Like that's where I would have started with my nerves and how, really paralyzed I got when I had to get on video. So that's where I would start today. But also, like, we have so many options today. Like, you don't even have to like show your face all the time. If you choose to do like a reel or a TikTok, you can literally video your feet walking and do a voiceover talking about the journey and how you got here. And it's just like, there's so many other powerful ways. Yes, I do think we build more relationships showing our face, but there are so many powerful ways that we can do video without always showing our face. And so if that is a huge fear of yours, start somewhere like that. Because yes, it's great to be seen, but it's also great to be heard. And as all of you who messaging is your niche, it's your craft, right? You can still convey that message across with your voice. And so I think both are important, but that's where I would have started because I was so petrified to show my face and mess up and have the deer in the headlight look. Like I was so scared of those things. But I do love the stories aspect too that weren't around in 2016 because they do disappear. So if you're really worried about like, I don't want the world to see this forever, you can do something like that and it disappears.
That's so great. I never thought of it from that perspective, and I really love that. Now,
Yeah.
you mentioned something a little bit ago that could be really, really helpful for people who think about getting on camera and they just like their brain falls out. Like they don't know what to say. Like, where do I even start? You said you started brainstorming questions that people asked you about your business.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit more about how asking questions can be such a great way to come up with content ideas?
Yeah. Well, first of all, there are no dumb questions. Let's just be clear. But if somebody is brave enough to ask you that one question, whether it's in a group setting, if it's in a program setting, if it's in a DM, right? If they're brave enough to ask you that question, can we disagree that there are multiple people who have that same
Oh,
question? They're
yeah.
just too afraid to ask. And for me, especially, I attract a lot of introverts. I talk about introverts a lot in my messaging because I am an introvert and I get on camera and I stand on stages and I do all of these things. So I have a lot of more lurkers than I do likers. So when I get a question, I know it is a great question to ask or to create content around. And if you're like, well, no one asks me questions right now, or I don't really have a community and I don't have that built, go scour business groups or Quora.com or something like that and see what other people are asking. Even if somebody's answered them, I don't read the answers, just read the question and literally go create content from that. And there's so much knowledge at our hands, so much opportunity is at our hands if we just go grab it.
Yes, I love that because, and actually there's kind of a new tool that's come on the scene that I have found really, really fascinating. Are you cold? My husband just walked in. His hands are freezing. He's been cleaning the car, like the inside of the car, you know, so it's like, oh, he just wanted me to know. So sweet. Thanks for sharing. But the Chat GPT, this new AI powered tool is actually kind of brilliant at helping you come up with ideas.
It is.
I have not always been the hugest proponent for AI because there's just certain things that AI doesn't have the capability for. But
Yeah.
when it comes to ideating, I think it's great. So I like to use that as well. Like the other day I went in there and I was like, give me the top 10 questions, most popular questions for freelance copywriters. And it spit out what I know after years of research and working with freelance copywriters, the exact top 10 questions in the order that I get asked them as a coach. And I was like, dang, let's go. Like,
That's good. That's
yeah.
good. And I think, we should absolutely be okay with using tools like that because we are still the deliverer of the message. Like literally, if every copywriter in this group answered those questions, it would all be a little bit different, a little different personality, a little different experience, and you would attract totally different people in the process. So I love that.
Well, and honestly, one freelance copywriter cannot be in all corners of the world all the time.
Yeah.
They're not going to resonate with every single person who needs a copywriter. We have to be willing to step out and speak up for the people who are our ideal clients because I can't help everyone as a copywriter. I can't take all the clients. I need other good quality skilled copywriters to step up and speak into their audiences because there's no way just a few of us can help as many people as need copy in their businesses to help them grow, especially now as we're on the verge of a recession and people need more ways to stay in their audience's pockets and keep generating the interest and the income that they need to keep their businesses alive when the economy is just whack.
Absolutely.
Definitely. So tell me today, knowing where you are, and where you were 5 or 6 years ago, what has consistent visibility done for your business?
So consistent visibility has totally positioned me as the expert. It has helped me be able to walk into rooms where people know who I am, but I don't know who they are. And we call this parasocial relationships, but people feel like they know me because I've shown up so much for so long. And I think, really positioning as the expert has to be like the number one thing. And it's funny because Christa and I have both been mentored by the same person. And one of the things that stuck with me is like, become known for one thing, but it doesn't mean you can't do other things. So it's always about positioning yourself. Like my thing is visibility, but I can branch out from so many other things and talk about that, anything that a business owner goes through. And so that's what I did at the beginning of my business. But if I had it to do, like if there was anything that I would change that I didn't do, when I first started getting on video, and many people, you just literally do it to do it because you're just so scared and you're practicing and you're getting better. But one thing I didn't focus on probably until like the last 2.5 years is the messaging. Like, what am I saying? Am I just rambling and just like word vomiting out the mouth? Or am I actually saying something and get to a point? And it's really hard because I am a rambler when I get on video. But I think messaging and that first like headline or that hook has been a huge asset to my business in the past 2.5 years, like focusing on that and making sure that I'm grabbing attention, but then I'm also like feeding that, the attention that I grab, I'm actually giving them some really meat and potatoes information, not just like, an overview or something that wouldn't warrant that hook to pull them in.
Yeah, I completely agree. Really dialing in on using hooks and video content well has helped my visibility so much. And that's been huge, is understanding that it's, in the beginning, turn the camera on, just do it. But as you go, keep dialing it in, keep making small tweaks and changes. And definitely the hooks, that first 3 seconds of your video, the ability to capture the attention so they keep watching, it's huge. And that's something that copywriters are good at. Like, that's what we do. We come up with hooks all the time. Just come up with hooks that you actually say out loud, right? Just say them out loud now, and then give them, a sound bite or shorter or longer form, depending on your platform. But it all starts with that one attention grabber. And if you can get really good at starting your videos with that, you will see growth, guaranteed. Just absolutely you will.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Awesome. So tell me, what are the big challenges are there things that we believe about getting visible that really aren't true? So one thing that I hear people say is, well, I'm not very like good on camera. Like, I'm not super pretty, or I feel like I'm awkward. Like, how much does that really matter?
It doesn't, because I am the most socially awkward person. I have just gotten better, right? Like I look at that Jello shot video, I still have it, and it's actually on one of my freebies that I show people because I want them to see like how nervous I was and how not confident, and I'm yelling at the camera and I'm using my phone, and I don't even have a tripod at this point. I have books stacked up. Like, that's how ancient this is, right? And so it was so unprofessional, but the comments don't make it look like that. Back in 2016, Crissy, that was good for Crissy, right? And now I can look at it and critique it. But back then I was like, dang, I was really good. And now I'm like, oof. A lot of work to do, girl. But back then you thought you were good, and that's all that matters. And so I think truly just going with what you know and being the best you can in that moment and giving yourself grace, knowing that you're going to get better, and you're going to look back one day, and I call that baby Crissy, and you're going to look back one day and say, oh, that was baby Crissy. She was so cute. And I think really just focusing on that and knowing that you're going to grow, you're going to learn, you're going to get better. And I hope I answered that question. And if
you definitely did. And it jogged my memory of something I did maybe 6 months ago with some of my students. I told them, I want you to go back in my TikTok and I want you to watch the first 2 or 3 of my videos. And that was like, I should not send people to those videos. They're so bad. But it's important to remember that even the best people in the world on video started somewhere, and they weren't good when they started. Like, I was super slow, kind of quiet, and I didn't really use very good hooks. And now I hop on there and I'm like, hey guys, did you know that the worst way to find clients right now isn't what you think you know what I mean? And you get better by doing.
Absolutely.
Period. You get better by doing. You could think about it, you can rehearse it in your mind, but until you do it and just keep doing it and being okay with making small improvements along the way, you don't really see that growth happen. So just remember, if you need encouragement, go to Christa's TikTok from the very beginning and watch that, because it can't possibly be worse than what that was.
Go back to the archives and look deep in. Another thing that you asked was the thing that people think. And I think what people think when you have to get visible, it takes a lot of work and it takes a lot of time, and you're going to live on social media. And what I found, it can, I mean, I've been hustle Crissy on video and visibility. And I've also been ease and flow on video. And the thing is the great thing I love about video, if you're willing to do video, is you can repurpose it everywhere. Like, why would you not take that TikTok and put it on Facebook Reels and Instagram Reels and YouTube Shorts and Pinterest idea pins? Like, there's so many places to put that one, 15 to 30 to 60-second video. And it's amazing how it may bomb on one platform, but like literally go mini viral on another. So us not giving it that opportunity to do that, we're just doing a disservice to ourselves and our potential leads and customers, because there's so many different people that can see that piece of content. And
so what if it bombs on one platform?
I mean, even if it's 100 people, would you be mad in front of 100 people in a room? Like, no, you would not.
100 people showed up to hear what I had to say. Like, sweet.
Exactly. And so, we get to keep that in mind too. So I think really repurposing, you don't have to be on video all the time. I think the other thing is that people think we have to do trends. I go through phases where I just don't want to do trends. I literally just do face to cam and I'm recording. I'm saying what I feel. Or sometimes, like I don't right now, but sometimes doing an interview like this, I would have my phone over here recording behind the scenes and then turn that into content. Yes. I mean, I could clip out so many 15 seconds quotes or things that I said that can become a reel or a TikTok. And I think we just don't think about all those things. And I'm already doing this interview, right? It would have made sense for me to prop up a camera and just record.
Same here. Look, I got this right here.
Yeah. So we make things so much harder than they have to be. And the other thing I think is that, and I don't know how copywriters feel about this, but we don't repeat ourselves enough. We literally think we need 365 pieces of different content every year, and we don't. We need to regurgitate, repurpose, and re-say, because that is truly what positions us over and over and over. And there's so much noise. People get to hear it over and over and over again. One time is not enough. 2 times is not enough. So the more we can repurpose the things that we say and how we say them and share them in different ways, like I may do a reel with 5 tips, and then I may do a carousel with 5 tips. And then I may have a story with 5 tips. Like, there's so many different ways I can put this. And then on Facebook, I would just copy the text and put it on there with no graphic. I mean, so there's so many different ways that we can convey our messaging and repurpose it. So it's not just like downloading and re-uploading like a reel or something like that, but we can really just give everyone, because some people don't watch videos. Some people do want to read. So that way we're giving and we're delivering the messaging the way that people want to receive it.
Yeah, exactly. One thing I love to do is I love to do the inverse. So if I have 5 ways to write a killer headline, I'll do 5 things you should never include in a headline. Same concept.
Yeah.
Less brain power. You're just coming at it from a different angle. So I love that too.
Yeah.
When you're posting video, how much do you pay attention to the captions, like the text piece of the video content? So I'll be honest, even as a copywriter, I will put the hook as the caption basically, and the hashtags that I know work. And I don't really go, except on Facebook, on my personal profile, I'll do long form posts. But I don't worry about each little word that I'm putting there in the caption because the video does the talking for me. How do you handle your captions?
I agree. I do sometimes repeat myself in the caption, and the only reason I do that is for searchability,
Yep.
and also so that my video, like if I do 5 things, I may explain it more in the video, but just put the 5 things, right?
Yeah.
So in the caption. So it just depends, but a lot of times I might do both just for that searchability, because I feel like the caption, the description is going to be more searchable than what I always put in the video too.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I'm the same way. Exactly. Well, thank you so much for taking the time. Any last words for those of us who feel like, yes, I want to grow my business, but no, I'm not willing to do that?
Yeah. So this has been like a topic for me lately that you just said.
But I don't want to do that. Oh.
I think this is the thing I want to say, and this has just been on my heart lately. And I've heard a lot of people asking me, do I have to? Do I have to do this? Do I have to do that? Do I have to do this? The thing is actually you don't have to do anything. We don't have to be business owners. We don't have to be CEOs or entrepreneurs. That is a choice that we chose, right? And I'm hoping that when we choose to do something like that, that we're really passionate about it. So I look at getting visible and finding a way to share my passion, because if you're really, truly passionate about what you do, you don't want to keep it to yourself. You want like to shout it off the rooftops, right? And so I look at it as I get to share this. And if I choose to be quiet, and if I choose to not be seen and not be heard, I'm actually doing a disservice to my audience, because there's so many people that I could be serving and supporting and helping them grow their business. But if I choose to be quiet, then I'm doing them a disservice. So I look at it that way, and look at it as I don't have to do anything, I get to. And it also makes it seem like less of a chore, but it also makes it more exciting. And the more passionate we are, the easier it is to share our message and to get on video and to shout it from the rooftops and not worry about what other people might think or say about us if we do it.
Totally. There's something that Stacy Martino always says, who's a former client of mine. She always said, everyone lives with the results of the decisions that they make.
Yeah.
So if you ask yourself, what is the result that I want? And what decision and action then do I need to make and take in order to get that? That helps me keep myself in line when I'm tempted to be like, well, how else do you think you're going to get it, Christa? Like, come on.
Right.
So yeah, totally. Well, thank you so much for coming in and giving us so much amazing value. Have a wonderful new year.
You too. Thank you.
We'll see you around the group. Guys, first of all, though, if people in here want to know more about visibility and how they can learn more about what you do to help people get and stay visible, how can they find you?
I'm Chrissy Connor on almost every platform. And then you can go to thevisibilityqueen.com, and there's an introvert's guide to getting visible. There's a couple more freebies there, my free group and my podcast that they can listen to.
Awesome. Well, I would love it when this post to the group, if you could drop some of those in there so that people can click and go check it out, because I know I have always been so inspired by your absolute willingness to do the hard thing, even when it scares you. It helps me keep that front of mind for myself too, with different pieces of my business. Like, okay, you just do the hard thing. That's the only way to get over the fear, is to do it.
And failure doesn't seem as scary when you do it. Like, I promise you, it's more uncomfortable.
You either learn or you win or you learn.
Yeah.
Right. Think of it that way. Well, I learned this time. Maybe I'll win next time, type of thing. The reframe is super powerful.
Absolutely.
Well, awesome. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Bye.